Hello, I'm Den. I am 35 years old. I'll tell you our story. This was in the summer of 2010. I was living in a villa in Dubai and we loved hosting theme parties. The theme this year was space, and as one of the hosts, I was making a big effort with my costume and was dressed up as Buzz Lightyear. Young woman Carmen was dressed as a Martian girl. I spent most of the night having my photo taken with very attractive girls. One of those very attractive girls was Carmen. Although I don't happen to remember too much about the moment, that was officially the first time we met. I always made a very good effort with the costumes, but Carmen just put a headband on and that was enough to make me a Martian girl. My friend remembers me looking at the photos later and saying, "Wow, Buzz was sweaty." Well, it was summer and he was in full costume. Yep, that's how we met. Then I think 2 months later we went to a toga party where we met again. I was in full costume yet again, but she wasn't. That was the first time we had a conversation. Throughout the night, we just kept bumping into each other and talking. We found out we had a lot in common and the conversation just flowed. We were both half Filipino and we both loved to travel. I said, "We should catch up sometime." And she said, "Yes, let's do shisha." But it never happened. Carmen had told me she was kind of seeing someone at the time. Yes, she was dating someone and lived with my boyfriend for 3 years. It was funny though, as every time friends would say to Carmen, "You should leave your boyfriend and go for Aaron. You guys are made for each other." This happened every single time. They all thought we had extremely similar personality traits, and they were so right. Well, she was seeing someone, so I respected the boundaries. But we would see each other in all the parties. We always had a great time talking, and we clearly got along very well, very effortlessly. 3 years passed. I had heard through her best friend that her relationship had ended, so I started to send her messages asking how she is and what she's been up to. Being a flight attendant, she was always all over the world, so her replies were always, "I'm in Rio," or "I'm in the Philippines." She was always very positive and sweet in her messages. I still didn't make a move. I guess I was quite shy and reserved. Carmen is such a beautiful woman. I also didn't want to mess anything up and was being extra cautious. And what a strange year it was. Carmen and I met on the plane by chance, when we were each flying on our own business. When you think about it, it really isn't that easy to bump into someone on a big airplane, but here we were. What are the chances of that happening? And both of us pretty much changed our flights last minute and thus ended up on the same one. We landed in Dubai and I sent her a message asking when we could finally meet up. She said, "I won't be able to make it for shisha tonight, but I am going now and you are welcome to join me." I got home, put my bags down, took a shower, dressed, jumped in my car and drove straight back to the other side of town to join her and her girlfriends. Finally, she was well chaperoned. So much for her early night. We were all there till 2 a.m., so this is how it started. We had this whirlwind romance where we were both flying around the world and keeping in touch with messages. And every time we both happened to be in Dubai, we dated. When I could, I would surprise her and suddenly appear on her layovers when she went flying. For 3 months we were inseparable. We meet each other's families. We just got along really well and everything was very easy. It was 3.5 months after we met. We were in Thailand. I actually was going to propose there, but the ring wasn't ready yet. I had commissioned it and it was being prepared in Dubai. So we returned to Dubai and she had a New York flight the next day where she only had a 24-hour layover. I booked myself into that flight but didn't tell her. While she was trying to sleep off her post-Thailand fatigue, I snuck out of the house, collected the ring and secretly packed my bag and hid it in the back of the car. I had a bit of persuading to do when Carmen woke up and said that she was so tired she didn't want to go to her New York flight. Yikes. Thankfully, I managed to persuade her. I dropped her at the airport and ditched my car in the sand somewhere because I was running extremely late for check-in. I boarded the same flight, found her and said, "Hi, baby." And she was in shock. She was very confused and didn't know what to make of it. Poor Carmen had been working for 15 hours at that point on top of her road fatigue after our holiday in Thailand. But when we got to the hotel in New York, I said, "Baby, let's go. I want to see the Empire State Building." She is always such a good sport, she agreed. I actually took the tour to distract her. So when tour finally finished, I could see that she was expecting something and was a little disappointed that I hadn't asked her. But then I told her I had a ticket to the observation deck upstairs and that expectant look returned. I was nervous, sentimentality was growing. I wanted to propose marriage. So we were there at the observation deck overlooking Central Park, and there was a guy standing very close to us. Then he moved. I took this opportunity to get down on my knee and ask her if she would marry me. You know what her first words were? "What are you doing down there?" I said, "Look, I have a ring." She was amazed, but she hugged me and said yes. We sealed that with a kiss. Then we walked down Fifth Avenue, got some champagne and celebrated. The restaurant announced that we had just gotten engaged and we got a big round of applause. The phone service meanwhile was quite terrible, so we couldn't call anyone to share the happy news. We walked back to the hotel, put it on Facebook and fell asleep. We woke up 6 hours later to an explosion of 500 likes and 200 comments between the two of us. Everyone knew we were dating, but it had only been 3.5 months, so everyone had gone crazy with the news. Soon we went to Spain and bought our wedding rings there, and the engagement ring I gave you. We got engaged on October 23rd. We wanted to move in together, but our families are quite traditional, so 6 months to the day we had a small ceremony and got married. It was a very intimate. At the end, only half of our guests could make it, but we still went ahead and got married. And it turned out to be an amazing wedding with absolutely everyone having a wonderful time. We also donated all of our gifts or money to charity for the typhoon and asked all of our guests to do the same. Felt right. The one regret I have is not dating Carmen sooner. I wish I had had more courage to ask her. We had a bit of catching up to do when we finally did get together. In a couple, it is important to be able to forgive. You have to forgive. I can say I am sorry, but unless she forgives me, we can't move forward. We all have areas in our lives where we could have acted differently, and we have had disagreements like any couple about things we could have done better, and sometimes all you can do is ask for forgiveness. If anyone holds a grudge, it will only escalate. One thing I have realized is no matter how much we fight or disagree, we are in this together forever. We will work it out somehow. It might cost me a diamond or a dog, but we will always work it out. Love is easy to give but harder to receive. Carmen gives me so much love. I never thought it could be like that. It could be so easy to get it. In my previous relationships, I found that it was always one way, but I learned that real love actually goes both ways. It is equal and balanced. Love is a decision. You decide on a person and make it work. The thing is, there are so many things that are not perfect. And there are going to be days that things are going to get really hard. This is how we understand how we feel our love and we are together. I want to be with Carmen. Share in the comments, have you met your love?